Welcome to NACTV Reads the News. My name is Gwen Jacobsen, and I'm one of many volunteers that help create programming for our station. NACTV can be seen on MTS Channel 30 or 1030, Westman Cable Channel 17, Bell Satellite Channel 592, or online at nactv.tv. These programs are made possible by our volunteers, staff, advertisers, as well as donations made by you, the viewers. If you are enjoying your NACTV experience, please consider supporting us by either donation or volunteering. You can contact our office at 204-476-2639 or at nactv@wcgwave.ca. So this week's edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press is dated Friday, July the 5th, 2024. Now on the front page, Neepawa has some big news. Neepawa finalizes historic land deal by Owen Devereaux. The town of Neepawa has put pen to paper on a significant land purchase. Mayor Brian Headley, along with council and administration, have confirmed the acquisition of 320 acres in the northwest portion of the community near Manitoba Highway number 5, or PTH 5. To put the size of this purchase into perspective, the amount of land bought by the town is just over 7.5 times larger than the CN property deal back in 2014. So this is the outline of the new land that has just been purchased, and the land that he was talking about, the CN property in 2014, is right here. So it's just this little parcel of land compared to this great big one, so it is very significant. So back in 2014, now those 42 acres are now home to Neepawa's new fire hall, the RCMP headquarters, a large number of new houses and apartment complexes, and a new hotel that is in progress right now. When the decision to consider the purchase of additional land had been contemplated by council on several occasions over the last few years, the decision to actually proceed with the purchase of additional land was based on recommendations made within the town's recently completed housing study and strategy documents. The document reviewed the suitability of the current housing market and identified potential areas of concern over the long term. It made several suggestions to accommodate for future growth, the first of those being the acquisition of additional properties. Expanded details on the housing study can be found online at www.chooseneepawa.com. The total cost of this newly announced deal will be a little over $2.6 million and is fully funded by the town's building and land reserve. That reserve was first established in 2019 for the sole purpose of acquiring land to assist and manage local growth. That type of foresight has become very necessary due to Neepawa's monumental population surge over the past decade. Between 2016 and 2021, the community had a growth rate of 23.3%. Combined with a 27% population increase from 2011 to 2015, Neepawa has been among the fastest growing municipalities in all of Manitoba. While that is an overall positive for any community, local housing has failed to keep pace. A large part of that stagnation is related to a lack of available publicly owned land that could be sectioned off or sold for new housing startups. The purchase of the 320 acres should solve that obstacle. In a press release announcing the land purchase, Mayor Brian Headley said this deal will have a generational impact on the community. The results of these actions will advance Neepawa's vision for housing and provide a platform for meeting the various needs and demands of Neepawa for years to come, said Headley. As for future plans for the property, current long-term vision suggests that the 320 acres could easily accommodate up to 460 new dwellings by 2028. Those would be mixture of houses and apartment complexes. The exact specifics are still under consideration and would need to be worked out with potential developers. As well, the land's proximity to the rail line could allow for creation of a new industrial parcel. This is the latest in the long line of major announcements for the town of Neepawa over the last few years, which include the completion of a new middle school, the current construction of a new regional hospital, and the planned build of a vocational high school. Well, that's exciting. So here's a new business opening soon in Neepawa. A brand new shopping option is almost ready to go in Neepawa. Chucky's liquidation is expected to open within the next couple of weeks at 139 Main Street West, the former home of Chalet Flooring. The store will feature discounted items purchased from either wholesale stores or warehouse stores. Additional details on the new business will appear in a future edition of the Banner and Press. Neepawa Titans support Beautiful Plains Agricultural Complex. And here's a picture of it right here. That's pretty nice. Neepawa Titans head coach and general manager, seen here, Ken Pearson, and Ag Expo co-chair Matt Lowry present Justin Kacholski of the Beautiful Plains Ag Complex with a check for $2,731.50. The money was raised from the Titans annual Ag Expo online auction, which was held in April. Each year, the Titans give a portion of the proceeds from the auction to a worthy local organization. This year's funding will go towards general upkeep and improvements to the Ag Complex's roads and buildings. Now, coming up at the Roxy Theatre, July 10th and 11th, the movie showing is called Thelma. When 90-year-old Thelma Post gets duped by a phone scammer pretending to be her grandson, she sets out on a treacherous quest across the city to reclaim what was taken from her. Its rating is PG and it starts at 7:30 p.m. Then on July the 17th and 18th, also at 7:30 p.m., the movie's showing is called The Garfield Movie. I'll come back to that page if we have time. And same with this page. Helen Drysdale, Out of Helen's Kitchen. Summer company and breakfast. Summertime and extra company go together. Here are a few easy ideas for feeding company a breakfast that is a little more special than cold cereal and toast. Spruce up your breakfast with one of these delicious recipes. Tasty, no yeast cinnamon rolls that are quick and easy to make, giving you cinnamon rolls in no time at all. So the first recipe is for baking powder cinnamon rolls. The next is carrot cake pancakes. Pancakes are a common breakfast food. This recipe brings pancakes to another level for a delicious breakfast special. The spices in these pancakes take you right to the flavors of a carrot cake. And the last one is sausage and cheese egg boats. So you'll have to go online to catch those recipes. McCreary School Awards. McCreary School Awards for the kindergarten to grade 11 students were held on Thursday, June 27th at 1:15 p.m. in the gymnasium. The kindergarten through grade 6 students received certificates in recognition of a successful year. So I think I'll come back to that too if we have time to read, and also the same with the Neepawa graduation award winners. Here we have a great picture of 4 different communities that have their own outdoor pools. So in honor of Water Safety Week, it's just showing who is going to be working at these facilities for the summer. So first we have the Neepawa School employees: Rebecca Ellis, Keegan Dyke, Anastasia Artie, Bronson Much, Amber Wahosky, Ella Cushell, Ashley Nadeau, Jessica Wither, Alyssa Nadeau, Cami Smith, Jenna Beaumont, Allison Beaumont, Claire Beaumont, and Jaden Hankey. Missing are Rhea Cushell and Kendra Harris. Then for Carberry, the Carberry pool employees for the summer are Caden Denton, Richard Laporte, Dylan Barnstable, Dahlia Snaith, Tennille Steen, Zoe Couples, Quinn Thorne, Ella Baker, and Maya Kendall. Missing are Regan Bjarnson and Nate Robson. Then in McCreary, we have Nolan Buchanan and Ashton Delorier, Kristen Gregson, Caitlin Gregson, Austin Tucker, and missing Brandon Scott. And then in Gladstone, the employees for the summer are Kira Weeb, Kira Reimer, Lacey Bidens, Zach Howe, Morgan Campbell, Lily Stewart, and Jackson McCutcheon. Also Cora Baker, Ruby Adams, Peyton Campbell, and Taya Campbell. Missing is Kendra Harris, Lauren Armstrong, and Brooke Reimer. Water safety is everyone's responsibility. Play safe this summer. Making a difference. The Neepawa Kin Club presented Neepawa Handyvan with a check for $1,105 as one of its Macon organizations the fundraiser supported this year. Right here. Then the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation supports community organizations also. A series of donations were made to community organizations at the Beautiful Plains Community Foundation luncheon held last month. A few of these many donations were to the Neepawa swimming pool, $3,000 for an aquatic wheelchair, and Habitat for Humanity. $10,000 for building supplies to build a home, and $5,000 for Arts Forward for the Indigenous Culture Day celebrations to be held on September 27th this year. Then a circus was in town. Cirque LuzDalia entertains at Neepawa. Amusement and wonder are quite synonymous with circuses, and it appears the Cirque LuzDalia was certainly no exception. It came to Neepawa recently, and it had a variety of acts performing. Pictured here are just a couple of the acts from the June 28th performance. Here we have Audrey Montiel from the United States performing her contortion act. And here, aerialist Natalie Sedina from Mexico showcases her expertise on the flying lyra. Now, here's an announcement. A new physician will be joining the Beautiful Plains Community Medical Clinic in the fall of 2024, just around the corner. Any residents needing a family doctor must register with Family Doctor Finder. all enrollment will be managed through the Family Doctor Finder program. Please refrain from calling the medical clinic. Individuals will be contacted directly to enroll in this physician's practice. Registrants who already have a physician at this medical clinic will not be eligible to switch providers. Hats off to you, graduates. Here are pictures of a few of the many graduates who were at the ceremonies for the Neepawa Area Collegiate Institute. John Makatuno, who received the Governor General Bronze Medal from the NACI principal, Mr. M. Rani. Makatuno attained 40 credits and a group average of 97.9%. Wow, that's fantastic. And then Ashley Dyke is seen here. And Katie Ray Byram is seen here with also the principal. Here we have a really great picture. I'll be seeing you around the farm. In his recent travels, photographer Rob Waddell came within 6 feet of what we believe to be a great gray owl. The owl did not get agitated or annoyed, even in such close quarters with a human. If it is a great gray owl, perhaps the old building in the background is his home. Is there a reader out there who can clearly identify this owl? Just email us at news@neepawabanner.com. Carberry Farmers Market updates. Carberry Farmers Markets have gone through some big changes lately. Last November, we grew into a pop-up Christmas store. Then we expanded into Main Street Market and Studio, a local collaborative artisan market and art studio at 211 Main Street. For July and August, we will be continuing our weekly evening market at the CPR Market at the south end of Main Street from 5 to 7 p.m. Through July and August, we will host our fundraising barbecues for local groups and organizations. The organizations being supported are, on July the 10th, our new daycare group. On July 17th, MADD, I believe that's Mothers Against Drunk Drivers. July 24th, Carberry United Church. July 31st, Carberry Museum. August 7th, Carberry Homecoming Festival. August 14th, Westman Mental Health and Suicide Prevention Association. August 21st, Carberry Egg Society. And lastly, August 28th, Total Freedom Church. We always have room for more vendors to join in Wednesday evenings from 5 to 7 p.m. All right. So I'm going to go back to page 4. It's got a cute little comic this week. It looks like two men from way back in history, and one of them is chiseling on the wall, and the other man says, "Great, we'll never get our security deposit back now." All right, Right in the Center by Ken Waddell. It's entitled Some Uncomfortable Truths. Former U.S. President Ronald Reagan said once, "The 9 most feared words in the English language are, 'I'm here from the government and I'm here to help.'" How true that is. Generally speaking, when governments get involved, they screw things up. The modern day economy is littered with examples. While well-intentioned, most government initiatives are inefficient, expensive, and misguided. But as a wise friend of mine pointed out after reading this column, big businesses screw up badly too. big tobacco companies, as an example. Now, I don't blame anybody for installing government-funded solar panels, but if they are so great, should they not fund themselves? I see them popping up all over, and they are indeed tempting, but they are expensive to say the least. Electric cars, in my opinion, one of the biggest scams ever foisted on our modern society. They are expensive, heavy, and in some cases very dangerous. And on the green front, what do you do with the old batteries? In a similar vein, has anybody figured out what to do with spent wind turbine blades? Not that I know of. They are not recyclable. They are buried in a landfill somewhere. And I read somewhere that it takes many weeks on a ship to get the blades to North America. Then they are shipped by train and finally by truck to the wind farm site. I think somebody burned a lot of diesel making that all happen. On the social front, there is a major wave of pushback against many of the social plans of the so-called woke movement. I am all for human rights, for equal pay, for equal work, for non-discrimination in the workplace. God help anyone who tries to use or abuse my staff, my friends, or my family. That said, rules need to be for everyone, not for special groups. Forced diversity is splitting our country wide open, and it will blow up sooner or later. Recent elections in France and South America are showing a major swing in the pendulum, and it is largely because groups and governments have rammed some really goofy ideas down people's throats. You can blame the universities if you like, or Hollywood, or the media. Blame whoever you want. But goofy changes in our society can only really be blamed on ourselves. Some of our most conservative groups don't even vote and somehow take foolish pride in that stance. In addition, 40% of all people don't vote, but 100% whine and complain. That makes sense, doesn't it? But back to conservative stands. The United States looks like they are about to elect Donald Trump as president. Trump has a list of negative things as long as your arm, but he has one thing going for him. Trump claims to speak for the common people, the citizens which governments have hammered and hectored and dismissed for decades. My wise friend mentioned earlier also points out that Trump helped a lot of his rich friends too. People want to be free in action, thought, and word. They don't want to be told what they have to do or what they have to think. Trump has tapped into that vein of discontent, and it appears that in spite of his age, his crazy ideas, and his long list of faults, that compared to the Democrats, he is the people's choice. The best thing that a government can do is less, but we are so far down the subsidy rabbit hole now that we may never get out. And before anybody jumps on our family's 3 newspapers and says, well, you take subsidies. Yes, we do, but reluctantly. I have said publicly for many years that instead of subsidies, governments need to buy ads. Ads on TV, radio, and newspapers, not subsidies. But the problem is, if the government bought ads, they would have to tell us what they are doing. And truth be told, governments don't really want to tell the people what they are doing. That would be uncomfortable, wouldn't it? Disclaimer, the views expressed in this column are the writer's personal views and are not to be taken as being the view of the newspaper staff. All right, Homebodies by Rita Friesen. This week, her article is entitled Road Trip. My sister, the younger, had the misfortune to break her arm some time ago, and so I have tried to slip over to Carmen every couple of weeks and have lunch with her. One week I decided to use different routes coming and going and see something different, check on crops and moisture conditions. I followed Highway 16 down to Highway 1 and continued south to St. Claude rather than go through Portage. I would certainly nominate that section of road for the award of most potholes per mile in the province, perhaps the nation. So I slowed down and appreciated the scenery. It was wet, and the closer I got to sandier land, the more I noted drifting soil right around water-filled sloughs in low spots. No need for the irrigation system to be working. Turning west at St. Claude, I envisioned the worst of the road conditions behind me. Nope. Construction, pilot vehicle, flag people, all the standard Manitoba summer road conditions. No problem. I had given myself adequate travel time. My sister wouldn't be worrying. Again, very wet fields, some hay wrapped, and some silage started. Turning south at Elm Creek, I was close to target time. Dang, a couple miles out, all travel was directed off the highway. An incident had required a detour. Again, no problem, I know the area. Okay, now you have all the transports. B trains on a gravel country road. Dust enough to choke you, and slow travel as the semis with their loads maneuvered tight corners and carefully met each other, no one really wanting to take the soft shoulder. As the majority of the traffic headed back to the highway, I continued a mile further south before returning to the pavement. Again, knowing the area gave me that confidence. Without the traffic and the dust, I could crop and water watch. I was only 15 minutes late. So, to return home, I decided to head north from Carman to Highway 1 and then on to Carberry and home. Here again, timing was everything. The rail crossing in Headingley was under repair, so all eastbound traffic on Highway 1 was rerouted at Oakville, Highway 13, traveling south to Elm Creek before going east to Winnipeg. So take all the traffic off of a main artery and funnel it down to a two-lane highway, and there was mile after mile of end-to-end vehicles, campers, U-Hauls, big rigs, and the impatient ones. It was mind-numbing. I was ever so thankful to be meeting them rather than trying to merge with them. The turn at the Elm Creek corner was painful to witness. After that, it was clear sailings. A little bit of construction just after entering the Trans-Canada, but the traffic was orderly and considerate. And again, the fields were wet. Early crops, especially the fall sown crops, look okay. There may be spots that will yellow yet, but right now they look pretty good. As a farmer's daughter and a longtime farmer's wife, I'd say we have had enough rain for now and don't need blistering heat. I already know which route I'll choose next time. All right, Faithfully Yours by Neil Stroshine. This week, his article is entitled, Don't Panic, Pray. I will be the first to admit that there are some times when I shake my head at some of the things our politicians, pundits, predators, and even sadly so preachers are saying about our world and its leaders and the global issues we are facing. I have never heard so many people make so many exaggerated claims or predictions about so many things that I am hearing today. If we believed everything we are told, especially on social media, many of us would have lost hope by now and be waiting in fear for the end to come. Unfortunately, there are many people in our world who are living with constant anxiety, worry, fear, and depression. According to a November 2021 article in Psychology Today, cases of anxiety and depression increased by 25% in just 1 year, thanks in large part to the COVID pandemic. They continue to rise in Ukraine and the Middle East, thanks to current wars and the fear of escalation as outside nations increase their supply of guns, tanks, rockets, drones, and other ammunition to the countries fighting the war. And we will never know how many people around our world are living in fear of some major upheaval within their borders, an attack from a foreign power, a civil war or tribal conflict, an economic collapse, another pandemic, a natural disaster linked to climate change, and numerous other possible problems. The list of things that could go wrong on this planet is growing by the minute, as is the threat to human health, safety, and security. None of these things should take us by surprise. Jesus told us they were coming. In Luke 21, verse 26, he spoke of a day when people would faint from fear and foreboding of what is coming upon the world. Those conditions appeared shortly after Jesus' death, burial, resurrection, and ascension, and they have been with us ever since. In John 14, Jesus offers us his answer to the anxiety, depression, and panic in our society. He says, "Peace I leave with you, my peace I give to you. I do not give to you as the world gives. Do not let your hearts be troubled, and do not let them be afraid." The peace the world gives is based on treaties made, recorded on paper, and signed by those negotiating them. It stands or falls on the integrity of those who signed the agreements. The peace Jesus gives is different. It is an inner character quality given to us by the Holy Spirit who lives within all those who put their faith in Jesus. It enables us to face all of life's challenges with dignity, courage, and unlimited optimism. St. Paul tells us how to release that quality when we desperately need it. "Do not worry about anything," he says, "but in everything, by prayer and supplication with thanksgiving, let your requests be made known to God, and the peace of God, which surpasses all understanding, will guard your hearts and your minds in Jesus Christ." Philippians 4, verses 6 and 7. In today's world, with all its uncertainties, God's message to us is, don't panic, pray. Pray for your country, its governments, federal, provincial, and local. Pray for your community, those who live on your street, those with whom you work, your family, yourself, the church you attend, and those who lead it. Your prayers will release God's peace in you and in those who, thanks to your example, also seek God's help for their lives. So don't panic, pray, be at peace, and live in peace. Now we have a really, oh yes, this was shown in another paper a while ago, and we're asking for people to see if anybody knew what it was. Woodcraft mystery potentially solved. The identity of this woodcraft item, originally featured in the June 7th, 2024 edition of the Neepawa Banner and Press, had been brought in after being discovered by Victor Wootka and his dog while out walking around Tenby. Wootka did not know what the item may be or how old it was. A response received from Drew Harper has now potentially solved the what of the item. Harper told the Banner and Press that to him, the piece of wood that Victor and his pup found looks like a First Nations ceremonial axe. So, if anyone has any further information or potential answers in regards to this item, please reach out to the Neepawa Banner and Press by emailing at news@neepawabanner.com or by phone at 204-476-3401 or by dropping into the office at 423 Hamilton Street in Neepawa. Now, at the top of this page, there's a, I don't know if you'll see it very well. It's entitled Old Canada, Neepawa in 1904 to 1910. Pictured here is a scene from dated from those dates. You can see the iconic columns of one of the many old banks here, right here. as well some old cars and some timely fashion, which these young ladies are wearing as they walk across the street. Now, there was a couple of corrections. There was an error regarding the date for the children's business fair within the preview story last week. Please note that the correct date for the children's business fair, which is to be held in Neepawa, is August the 15th, not August the 10th. The Neepawa Banner and Press apologized for this error. There was also an error in the paper last week for the headline in regards to Sherry Hannah. The headline referred to Big Grass Marsh. The proper identification for the organization is Big Grass Community Foundation. The Neepawa Banner and Press apologizes for this error. As well, congratulations once again to Sherry Hannah for being named the Big Grass Community Foundation Citizen of the Year. All right. So I was going to read out some of these awards. First, I'll start with the Neepawa Area Collegiate Institute 2024 Scholarship, Bursary, and Award winners. And here's a nice picture of the whole group. So many this year. So first off, the Governor General's Bronze Medal went to John Makatuno. The John Philip Sousa Band Award went to John Kyle Barrentos. The NACI Tigers Athletes of the Year Award went to Tarek Lapointe and Jillian Parrott. The M.E. Osborne Memorial Scholarship went to Gabby Vicido, $500. The Candy Brown Memorial Scholarship went to Mark Lawrence Gallego, $1,000. The Stride Credit Union Award went to Claire Nicholson, $1,000. The Stella Jones Inc. Award, I'm not sure, it just says N.A., $1,000. Maybe it wasn't given out this year. The Pat and Marie Andrews Scholarship went to Madison Robertson, $2,000. The Owens Sumner Memorial Scholarship went to John Mabayad, $900. The Apprenticeship Scholarship Award went to Reese Radish, $1,000. The Keith Jordan Memorial Bursary Award, again it says N.A., $500. The Roy Lewis Endowment Fund Award went to Reese Radish, $1,700. The Joan and Ron Gray Scholarship for Caring and Service to Others went to Amy McCharles, $500. The Jeff McCannell Memorial Scholarship went to Jillian Parrott, $1,050. The Rosedale Centennial Scholarship went to Brandon Kasprick, $500. The Community Donor Award went to Sophie Ragandang, $500. The Dillian Neufeld Scholarship went to Brandon Johnson, $500. The Yellowhead Roadrunner Scholarship went to Julian Pollard, $300. The Royal Canadian Legion Ladies Auxiliary Scholarship Award went to Claire Sheeper, $1,200. Legion Ladies Auxiliary Healthcare Field Award, Omar Abdul, $1,200. The Neepawa Area Health Auxiliary Scholarship went to John Makatuno, $1,500. Neepawa Elk Scholarship Award went to Jasper Baccaro, $1,000. High Life Foods Academic Excellence Award went to John Makatuno, $1,500. The Whitmore Family Scholarship, 2 winners, Claire Nicholson, $1,375, and Peyton McLaughlin, also $1,375. Mrs. A.K. and Inspector J. Butcher scholarship went to Katie Ray Byram, $3,350. The Neepawa Kin Club scholarship went to John Mabayad, $1,000. The Neepawa Rotary Club scholarship went to Jillian Parrott, $2,000. The Beautiful Plains Teachers Association Award goes to someone who chose teaching as a career. This year's award went to Claire Nicholson, $1,000. Beautiful Plains Teachers Association Post-Secondary Studies Scholarship went to Amber Wahosky, $1,000. Neepawa's Lions Club Scholarship went to Jasper Baccaro, $200. NACI Safe Grad Scholarship went to two people, Riley Davey, $1,000, and Ashley Dyke, $1,000. Margaret Lawrence Literary Scholarship went to Harmony Richard, $200. The Town of Neepawa Scholarship went to Cheska Cavigting, $500. Rick E.J. Evans Memorial Scholarship went to Brody Pollock, $300. Brookdale Community Award of Merit went to Davin Pinnock, $500. Municipality of North Cyprus Langford Scholarship went to Rylan Bray, $1,000. Carl McGregor Bursary Fund went to Tarek LaPointe, $800. Schoen Centennial Scholarship went to Brody Pollock, $500. Olive Cupis Memorial Scholarship went to Tarek LaPointe, $2,750. Betty Ann Brebner Memorial Scholarship went to Eliza Sadiamona, $600. Matthew McConnell Memorial Scholarship went to Brody Pollock, $500. The St. James Anglican Church Scholarship went to two people, Maverick Jakubowski, $500, and Kim Inocencio, $500. Neepawa and Area Retired Teachers Association Bursary Award. It has NA, $500. MNP LLP Scholarship went to Joshua Orica, $500. Beautiful Plains Community Foundation Youth Advisory Scholarship went to Jillian Parrott, $500. The Eden Community Scholarship went to Brandon Kasprick, $350. Traylon Ranke Flaming Memorial Scholarship went to three people, all $500 each, Chance Parker, Jordy Martin, and Carter McKinnon. The Keegan Airy Memorial Scholarship went to three people, $500 each, Lincoln Murray, Lance Murray, and Peyton McLaughlin. And finally, Prince of Wales Lodge number 14 Scholarship went to Carson Baker for $400. Now the McCreary School Awards. The Dreda Ennis Award. This award is presented to a student in grade 6, the highest academic average, Alec Reimer, and to the most improved student, Rayla Zelizniak. Now, these are academic average medals. So gold means the student had an average academic percentage of 96 to 100%, silver 90 to 95%, and bronze 80 to 89%. Wow. So for grade 7, the gold went to Kelly Duchard, the silver to Davida Prince, and the bronze to Catherine Bourne, Dustin Ronson, and Ethan Stoom. In grade 8, the gold went to Carly Coleman, the silver to Hayden Billett, and Noah Desjardins, and Yilam June. The bronze went to Alexa Desjardins, Axel Dunning and Alana Sosi. In grade 9, the silver went to Brody Buchanan, Tristan Reimer, Everett Smith, Kiana Spees, and Jaden Zalewski. The bronze went to Nolan Brody and Kian Zalizniak. In grade 10, the gold went to Alyssa Nadeau and Ashley Nadeau. The silver went to Jasmine Butterfield. The bronze went to Samantha Bourne, Woosen Young, Derek Reimer, and Ashley Wilson. In grade 11, the silver went to Fionn Devenald. The bronze went to Julie Grudeski and Haley Ronson. So for the grade 12 course awards, they will also be acknowledged at the graduation in 2025. So Applied Electrical Trades Technology for 40S, sponsored by RJ's Electric, went to Mason White. The Advanced Electrical Wiring Methods 40S, sponsored by Ace Hardware, went to Adam Stoom. The Advanced Residential Wiring 40S, sponsored by Lewis Blake Construction, went to Adam Stoom. And the Applied Photography 40S, sponsored by Mowat's Diesel Repair, went to Fionn Devenald. So, the athletic awards from grade 9 to 12. So the MVP is the most valuable player. The MD is the most dedicated. And the MIP is the most improved player. So for cross country, the MVP went to Ashley Nadeau. The MD went to Alyssa Nadeau, and the MIP went to Derek Reimer. In the girls' soccer, MVP went to Tristan Comartin. MD went to Alexa Bourne, and the MIP went to Claudia Jones. For curling, the MVP went to Julie Gradensky. The MD went to Alexa Bourne, and the MIP went to Charlie Joe Tarek. For badminton, the MVP went to Kyle Gilmore and Tristan Comartin. The MD went to Cameron Dunning. In the track and field, MVP went to Ashley Nadeau, the MD went to Cameron Dunning, and the MIP went to Brody Fayant. In the girls' volleyball, the MVP went to Tristan Comartin, MD to Cameron Dunning, and the MIP to Jasmine Butterfield. So the Athlete of the Year awards, for junior female, it went to Carly Coleman and Faith Glover. The junior male went to Hayden Billett and Noah Desjardins. And the junior varsity female went to Alyssa Nadeau and Ashley Nadeau. The junior varsity male went to Nolan Brody. The senior female went to Tristan Comartin, presented at graduation. And also for the senior male, presented at graduation, went to Kyle Gilmore. Maverick Achievement Awards. The Mavericks Points Program is intended to recognize students' maverick spirit and overall commitment to our school. This program helps encourage and build school climate by acknowledging students who have distinguished themselves in academics, athletics, leadership, school clubs, or the arts. Each student will be awarded points throughout the various areas through each school year. And it goes on to say, there are 4 different classes of Maverick Achievement Awards in which students can receive. Each class is based on the total amount of points received at any given year end. For bronze, it's good for 45 points, silver 75 points, gold 100 points, and platinum 130 points. Their names will go on a plaque for each achievement award along with the year in which they reached the total, which will be hung on the wall in the school for all to see. So the bronze award went to Charlie Joe Tarek, Ashley Nadeau, and Jaden Zalewski. The gold award went to Jade Butterfield, Cameron Dunning, and Kyle Gilmore. The Matthew Sonnenberg Award is presented to a student taking SHOPS classes that excels in class expectations and responsibility. It goes to a student who displays respect for others, helping others, having a high degree of interest and ability in the shop. This year, the award is presented to Derek Reimer. Now for the Citizenship Awards. These are presented in recognition of demonstrating the maverick way of respect, responsibility, and cooperation. So the Citizenship Award for elementary K-6 went to Isla Lucier. For junior grade 7-8, it went to Carly Coleman. And for the seniors award, it went to Alyssa Nadeau. Student of the Year awards are based on a combination of academic abilities and the involvement of school activities. For junior, it went to Noah Desjardins. Varsity junior went to Alyssa Nadeau. And for senior high, it went to Jade Butterfield. All right. Now, I think I finished everything except one thing. The only thing I haven't read this week is looking back page. So we'll start. This is by Casper Werhad. 125 years ago, July 3rd, 1899. My goodness. The party of Galicians who disembarked here on Tuesday have nearly all gone out to the Riding Mountain to locate in the vicinity of Huns Valley. While in town, these Galicians were closely scrutinized and they are now freely criticized. Everyone admits they are sadly lacking in decorum, and most observers consider them both morally and intellectually inferior. Oh my goodness, and not in any way a desirable class of settlers. On the other hand, the most charitable view expressed is that after such a long journey, these immigrants could not be expected to present a prepossessing appearance, and their thrift and intelligence were evidenced in their purchasing of outfits. But time alone will decide the contentious points. George Dinwiddie recently erected a shed along the east end of the Jubilee block to protect his machinery from the sunshine and the rain. But now he's acting on a better idea. He's advertising in the press so that the machinery may be sold so quickly so as not to require shelter while in his possession. A South Glendale farmer informs the press that CPR surveyors have finally located a branch line running about half a mile north of the baseline and paid for the right-of-way as far west as 41316, where a station is to be located. It is also learned that in all recent sales of CPR lands in that district, reservation was made of right-of-way and station privileges. Now, 100 years ago, June 27th, 1924, this is in Eden, there will be a meeting of all the 1924 signers of Chautauqua in Codes Hall on Friday, June 27th at 8 p.m. sharp. Everyone is urged to be present as the committees will be appointed. Chautauqua Week is from July 23rd to July 29th. 75 years ago, July 7th, 1949, H. Hancock, former accountant at the Lance Title Office and bandmaster for a number of years, visited his old friends in Neepawa during the week. He was greatly impressed with the progress Neepawa is making. My gosh, 75 years ago. Mr. Hancock headed the band in 1905 when Saskatchewan was formed as a province at Regina. He also operated the local theatre as a picture show and was organist of the St. James Church. Mr. and Mrs. Hancock now reside in Winnipeg. Many roller skating fans of town and district will be pleased to learn that the healthful sport of skating on wheels to lovely music orchestrated especially for that purpose will soon be a reality rather than just a dream. Walter Greenhay told us the slight remodeling of the arcade necessary to make alternate pleasure of skating and dancing possible will take place in the near future. The 200 pairs of skates are on their way and will be the clamp-on type used in other rinks of this kind. It's expected the hall will be open at least 2 nights a week for skating as well as for the regular dances. Now, 50 years ago, July 4th, 1974, Walter Johnson's retirement as maintenance engineer at the Carman Memorial Hospital as of the end of May climaxed 25 years of continuous service. A special presentation May 25th featured the event with Mr. and Mrs. Johnson as honored guests. Walter Johnson was born in Neepawa and is a brother of Bill Johnson of Neepawa, also known for his Christmas time role of Santa Claus in many parades and parties over the years. Mrs. Borga Jacobsen of Neepawa has been chosen to officially represent the Icelandic tradition and heritage at the Icelandic Festival at Gimli, Manitoba early in August. This is the 84th annual celebration of the Icelandic Festival in Canada, and the 50th year they have had Fjallkonan, which has been translated as Maid of the Mountains. The weather was near perfect Sunday afternoon when about 900 persons of all ages ascended the steep hills surrounding the Big Valley Park, 1 mile west of the Burney Corner on Highway 5, to take part in the 90th anniversary celebration of the rural municipality of Rosedale. And here's a picture of some of them that attended that day. Mr. and Mrs. John Wolosky, Mr. and Mrs. Wes Soroki, Mr. and Mrs. J.V. McLaughlin, and Mrs. Ben Oakley. Mr. Oakley was unable to attend. A long list of residents was read out by Mr. Stewart in recognition of being pioneers over 80 years of age and married more than 60 years. The Arden team was winner of the Mosquito League. Okay, and lastly, 20 years ago, July the 5th, 2004, staff shortages have forced the Assiniboine Regional Health Authority to close the 5th floor at the Neepawa's East View Lodge Personal Care Home. Wow, that's still happening today. Jane Jardine was awarded the Governor General Bronze Medal for obtaining the highest academic average as Neepawa Collegiate graduated its class of 2004 on Tuesday. Well, there you have it. I think that is it for the reading of the Neepawa Banner and Press this week. So thank you for joining us, and hopefully we'll see you another time. So bye for now.